5 people you must avoid in old age. Even family. As we get older, life becomes less about chasing goals and more about enjoying peace, meaningful connections, and caring for ourselves. For seniors, especially those over 65, emotional well-being is incredibly important. A key part of protecting that well-being is being careful about who you allow in your life. Sadly, not everyone brings something positive. Some people, even family, can take away from the peace you have earned. Here are 5 kinds of people you should avoid in old age, even if they are close to you. Guarding your peace is not being selfish. It is an important form of self-respect. If you find this video helpful, give it a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. 1. The manipulator. As we grow older, peace and emotional stability become priceless. But manipulators, often appearing kind or in need, can quietly disturb that peace. They might seem like they genuinely need your help or care. Many know exactly how to tap into your giving nature, especially if you have spent your life supporting others. Over time, though, their dependence may turn unhealthy. You start to feel worn out, mentally and emotionally. Imagine this. You are enjoying a calm afternoon, sipping coffee, thinking about your life. Suddenly, your phone rings. It is a friend or family member asking for yet another favor. Maybe they want a ride or need something done that they could easily manage themselves. At first, it seems like no big deal, so you help. But then you start to notice they only reach out when they need something. Worse, they make you feel guilty if you say no. They suggest that not helping means you are unkind or uncaring. This is what manipulators do. They use guilt to get what they want, turning your kindness into something they expect. They act like their needs are always urgent, making it tough for you to turn them down without feeling like you're doing something wrong. This ongoing pattern takes a toll. Instead of enjoying your retirement, you feel emotionally trapped in a relationship that's becoming one-sided. Spotting this behavior is key. Manipulators count on you not wanting conflict. They know you value peace and will avoid hurting anyone's feelings. But remember, saying no is not being rude. It is about protecting yourself. Your energy, time, and mental health matter. They should not be given away freely. The best way to deal with manipulators is by setting clear boundaries. When you firmly decide what you will and will not do, you take back your control. For instance, if someone keeps asking for help, try saying, "I'm sorry, I can't help this time." You do not need to explain or defend yourself. Your limits are valid because they protect your inner peace. It is also useful to step back and look at the relationship. Ask yourself, does this person add something good to my life? Or are they always taking? Healthy relationships are based on mutual respect and care, not guilt or pressure. Mutual respect and care, not obligation. If someone's presence regularly leaves you feeling emotionally tired or frustrated, it may be time to reassess their place in your life. In this stage of life, it is important to let go of the need to always please others. Your kindness is something to be shared, not something others should take advantage of. By choosing to spend time with people who truly respect and value you, you create a space where your later years can be peaceful and fulfilling. Saying no to someone who manipulates you is really saying yes to your own emotional health. That is a choice worth making every time. 2. The self-absorbed. Our later years should be about reflection, meaningful connection, and quality relationships. But not every relationship supports emotional health. Some people are unable or unwilling to focus on anyone but themselves. They are caught up in their own needs, goals, and stories. These self-absorbed individuals, often called narcissists, can take the joy and balance out of a relationship. They can leave you feeling unseen and unimportant. Picture this. You are sitting with a friend or relative, about to share a story from your past, something that still makes you smile. But just as you start, they interrupt you and begin talking about something they did. You wait and try again. But they do the same thing, pull the conversation back to themselves. Eventually, a pattern becomes clear. They control the conversation, turning it into something that is only about them. Instead of sharing a moment together, it becomes a one-sided show. Narcissists are often very good at this. They want attention and praise, and they often get it by ignoring the needs of the people around them. They may not mean harm. In fact, many are unaware of how their behavior impacts others. But the effect is the same. They take up all the space in the relationship, leaving you feeling small and overlooked. For older adults, this kind of interaction can be especially hurtful. After a life full of memories and wisdom, you deserve to be heard and appreciated. You should be surrounded by people who are truly present with you. But narcissists rarely offer that space. They focus so much on their own story that they forget or ignore dashers. Understanding this pattern is the first step toward protecting your emotional balance. Narcissists often use charm and confidence to win people over. At first, their selfish behavior may not be obvious, but over time, their lack of empathy and unwillingness to listen become more noticeable. They might brush off your thoughts, ignore your challenges, or expect your full attention while offering none in return. Setting limits is the best way to manage relationships with people like this. You do not always have to cut them out, though in some cases that might be best. But you can decide how much of your time and energy you give them. For example, if someone keeps changing the subject when you speak, gently guide the conversation back by saying, "I would like to finish my story." If they ignore how you feel, calmly say, "I hear what you are saying, but this is also important to me." It is just as important to remind yourself that their behavior is not a measure of your worth. Narcissists often struggle to truly recognize others, but that does not reduce the importance of what you bring to any relationship. You deserve to be surrounded by people who lift you up, friends, family, or community members who are genuinely interested in your thoughts, your memories, and your experiences. These are the relationships that bring comfort and meaning, helping your later years feel truly special. Letting go of the need to please a self-centered person can be freeing. It gives you space to focus on people who truly matter, those who show respect, empathy, and care with every interaction. Life, especially at this stage, is too valuable to be spent on one-sided relationships. When you give your time and attention to people who see your worth and treat you with kindness, you build a strong support system that reflects the richness of your life journey. And in those moments of awareness, remember your stories matter, your feelings matter, and you matter. Do not let anyone, not even the most self-focused person in your life, take that away from you. When you value yourself, you set a clear example for how others should treat you. That becomes the foundation of a fulfilling life. Point 3. The critic in your later years. One of the most valuable things you have earned is the freedom to live as your true self, to accept who you are, and appreciate everything you have been through. But critics, those who constantly point out flaws in others, can take away that freedom by planting seeds of doubt and negative thinking. These individuals often present their opinions as helpful, but their words can do real harm. They can slowly break down your confidence and make you feel like you are not good enough. Critics show up in different ways. It might be a friend who always has something to say about your looks, a family member who questions your choices, or a neighbor who always finds something you should be doing differently. Each comment may feel small by itself, a remark about your clothes or how you spend your time. But when these comments add up, they create a constant feeling of being judged. What makes these words more harmful is that they usually say more about the critic than about you. Many critics are projecting their own fears or unhappiness. Pointing out your mistakes becomes a way for them to avoid facing their own. Still, understanding their behavior does not always take away the pain. After a lifetime of working hard, loving others, and facing life's ups and downs, no one should be made to feel like they are not enough. It is important to realize that the opinions of others do not define you. The critic's voice, no matter how often it speaks, is just one voice. It does not need to become your truth. It should not decide how you feel about yourself. You have lived through success and struggle, joy and sorrow. Those experiences have shaped you, and that is something no one can take from you. When facing critics, one of the most powerful things you can do is to question their words. Not every comment deserves your attention. Ask yourself, is this advice truly helpful? Does it come from care and respect? If the answer is no, let it pass. Their negativity is not yours to carry. For example, if someone always questions how you choose to spend your retirement, or how you enjoy your hobbies, respond calmly and with assurance. I understand your concern, but I am happy with how I am living. This simple statement reaffirms your independence while gently creating a boundary. Another helpful approach is shifting the conversation. Critics often feed off negativity, so changing the topic to something more positive can reduce their influence. For example, if a family member points out what they believe is a mistake, you can respond with, "That is one point of view, but I am proud of what I have achieved." By doing this, you guide the conversation back to your strengths, reminding both them and yourself of your value. Being around supportive people is just as important. Look for relationships that celebrate your accomplishments and boost your spirit. These are the bonds that will remind you of your self-worth and help silence the voices of judgment. Whether it is a friend who shares your interests, a group from your local community center, or someone you trust deeply, these uplifting influences are like rays of sunshine on a cloudy day. They bring warmth and clarity. Keep in mind that critics have no real control over you unless you allow it. Their views are just that, views. They do not define your worth, your success, or your joy. You have earned the freedom to live without their constant opinions weighing you down. You deserve to enjoy the life you have built with pride, without shame. As you reflect on your journey, hold on to this truth. You are enough. You always have been. No critic, no matter how loud or how often they speak, can take that from you. When you release their negativity and focus instead on the beauty of your own story, you give yourself the space to live with the peace and self-assurance you truly deserve. Life is far too valuable to waste it worrying about other people's opinions. Focus instead on the moments that bring you happiness and the people who truly see and value you for the person you are. For the irresponsible, in the later stages of life, when the heavy responsibilities of the past finally begin to fade, the last thing you need is to carry the weight of those who refuse to manage their own. Irresponsible people, whether they are relatives, friends, or even casual acquaintances, can easily drag you into their problems, leaving you emotionally and sometimes financially exhausted. Their unwillingness to take responsibility can become a constant source of stress, disturbing the peace you have worked hard to create. Picture this. A family member repeatedly finds themselves in some kind of trouble, money problems, poor decisions, personal disputes, and every time they turn to you, they want your help. They expect you to fix things. They promise it will be the last time, but it never is. The cycle continues, and you are left drained, wondering if your support is really helping, or simply allowing the behavior to go on. Being irresponsible is not only about avoiding duties, it is about pushing the consequences of one's actions onto someone else. These individuals often depend on your kindness and willingness to help, especially if they are younger family members or those you have looked after before. But eventually, their need feels less like dependence and more like taking advantage. You are left carrying burdens that are not yours to carry. It is important to recognize that compassion and generosity are strengths, but they must be balanced with self-respect and clear judgment. Helping someone who will not take responsibility for their actions does not just drain you, it also stops them from learning and growing. Responsibility is something people develop when they face the results of their own choices. If you are always stepping in to fix things, you are actually holding them back from gaining that experience. It is a form of care for yourself and for them. The first step is knowing your limits and accepting that you are not required to fix problems that are not your own. For example, if someone regularly asks for money, you might say, "I am sorry, but I cannot help with that." Maybe you can explore other solutions. This kind of response protects your resources and also encourages the other person to take responsibility for their own situation. You should also avoid feeling guilty for saying no. People who do not take responsibility may try to make you feel bad, acting as though your refusal means you do not care. But in truth, your care can show in healthier ways, like giving advice, offering emotional support, or simply being there without solving their problems for them. Your job is not to fix their life. It is to support them in finding their own way. Forward. As you manage these relationships, keep your own well-being in mind. These later years are meant for happiness, discovery, and taking care of yourself, not for carrying the burden of someone else's repeated choices. Spend time with people who respect your limits and are thankful for the support you can offer. Good relationships are built on mutual respect and understanding, not one-sided dependency. Think about everything you have already overcome. You have faced struggles, made sacrifices, and grown through challenges to get to this stage of life. Do not let other people's lack of responsibility take away from the peace you have worked so hard to create. When you set clear limits and focus on what matters to you, you create space where both you and others can grow. Letting go of the urge to rescue people all the time is not selfish shit. Shows that you know your value and how important your time is. Accept this truth. You are not meant to fix every problem. By stepping back, you give others the chance to step up. And by doing that, you take back your energy, your calm, and your joy. 5. The ungrateful as we age. One of life's true pleasures is giving, whether it is sharing your time, your knowledge, or simply the love you have built up through the years. There is something deeply fulfilling about knowing your actions or support have made someone else's life a little easier. But few things hurt more than being met with ingratitude. When your kindness is ignored or worse, criticized, it can leave you feeling unappreciated, discouraged, and even questioning your own worth. Ungrateful people have a way of making giving feel like a burden instead of a joy. Picture this. You spend hours preparing a holiday meal for your family, carefully crafting every dish with love. But instead of thanks, someone complains that the food is not how it used to be. Or maybe you rearranged your entire day to help a friend, putting needs before your own only to receive no sign of appreciation at all, as if your time and effort meant nothing. When your efforts are expected but not appreciated, it can leave a deep impact. What makes ingratitude so painful is not just the absence of thanks, it is the message behind it. It tells you that your time, energy, and care are not valued. Over time, this lack of recognition can grow heavy, turning what should be joyful experiences into reminders that your kindness is being taken for granted. But here is something important to remember. Someone else's lack of gratitude does not define your worth. Their failure to recognize your effort reflects more about them than about you. You deserve to be around people who notice and value the love and care you bring into their lives. Managing ungrateful people takes both awareness and strength. It begins with being honest about how you feel, acknowledging the disappointment and frustration instead of pushing those feelings aside. It is okay to feel hurt when your kindness is not appreciated. Your emotions are valid. What matters more is how you choose to respond. A meaningful step forward is rethinking the relationships where ingratitude keeps showing up. Ask yourself, does this person add something positive to my life? Do they respect me, in what I do for them? If the answer is no, it may be time to set some healthy limits. This does not mean cutting people off completely, but it does mean choosing how much of your time and energy you want to give. For example, if a family member never acknowledges your efforts, consider doing less for them. Instead of always making space for their needs, shift your focus to what brings you happiness and peace. If they question the change in your behavior, you might say calmly, I have realized I need to focus on the things that make me happy. I hope you understand. This is not about blaming them. It is about looking after yourself. It is also important to give more of your time to people who truly value you. Be with friends, neighbors, or others in your community who return kindness with genuine warmth. These are the people who lift your spirits and remind you how good it feels to give. Their appreciation brings comfort and makes every thoughtful gesture feel meaningful. Another helpful reminder is to think about why you give in the first place. True generosity does not come from wanting recognition. It comes from love and care. By keeping your focus on the joy of giving itself, you can find peace even when others do not respond the way you hope. That said, this does not mean you should accept disrespect or feel used. Your kindness is something valuable. It should never be taken for granted. As you continue on this path, take time to honor your own efforts. Notice the care, love, and attention you put into your actions. Whether others thank you or not, your giving spirit reflects your inner strength and the beauty of your character. When you value yourself and what you offer, you also show others how you expect to be treated. The pain of ingratitude may linger, but it does not define who you are. What defines you is the love you share, the people you have helped, and the legacy of kindness you carry with you. By focusing on those who truly appreciate you, and by setting boundaries with those who do, not you protect your joy and ensure your later years are filled with the care and respect you have always deserved. Protecting your peace, it is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. As we move through the later chapters of life, our focus naturally changes. We begin to value calm, meaningful connections and personal contentment. We treasure the people and moments that truly add value to our lives. Caring for your emotional health is not just helpful, it is necessary. The people around you can either lift your spirit or bring you down. Understanding who belongs in your life is a sign of maturity and self-respect. Avoiding harmful relationships, whether they involve manipulation, selfishness, constant judgment, carelessness, or a lack of gratitude, is not selfish. It is a way of showing care to yourself. By setting firm boundaries, you give yourself the space to enjoy your life and invest in the relationships that offer real warmth and balance. You have spent many years giving your time, energy, and support to others. Now it is time to give yourself that same level of care and attention. Think about the life you have built and all the lessons you have gathered. You have overcome hardships, celebrated important milestones, and gained valuable insights. These experiences have shaped you into someone strong and wise. Do not allow the negativity of others to take away from what you have built. Instead, focus on surrounding yourself with people who respect you and value your time and presence. These years are a blessing, an opportunity to focus on what truly matters. Whether it is the comfort of loved ones, the presence of close friends, or peaceful time spent alone, make space for what brings you joy. Let go of the urge to please or fix those who leave you feeling drained. Choose instead the people and experiences that bring positivity and meaning to your life. Time is too valuable to be spent on relationships that do not support your emotional well-being. Your happiness is your responsibility, and the peace you protect now will become part of the legacy you leave behind. By being thoughtful about who you welcome into your world, you create a life filled with love, respect, and true contentment, a space where you can grow and enjoy every part of your journey. These insights are here to encourage you to live your truth and stay connected to what matters most. Now, I would love to hear from you. Take a moment to think and share one thing that stood out to you, something you plan to carry into your own life. Let us help each other grow by sharing our reflections. If you found this video helpful, comment with 1. If not, feel free to write 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. And remember to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more thoughtful content like this. Thank you for watching. Here's to living life your way with peace, meaning, and joy.